and welcome. Welcome to Facebook and YouTube, and I'm hoping that my Instagram allows me to go live. We're going to work on that right now. Buttons are working. Technology is our friend today. Welcome. If you're out there, I see listeners are coming online. Just say hi in the chat. I want to wish you a happy new year. I'm so excited about today's topic, and it's so pertinent for just stepping into a new season, a new year. I love the idea of really evaluating where we're at and taking the opportunity to think about where do I want to be, who do I want to be. And we're talking about that today. Our topic is becoming a woman who walks in peace, power, and purpose. I love those three P's. It definitely sounds like a Coach Leanne title, doesn't it? Peace, power, and purpose. Okay, are you having a hard time hearing me? Please say yes if you are, and I will change my microphone. Let's see here. Here we go. I've got my microphone right next to me. It should be working. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Let's go to one. Okay, now let's try that. How is that microphone? Is that a little bit better? Tell me if it's better. Just put better in the chat, please. Better. All right. Thank you for letting me know. I've been away, so I didn't have all my equipment hooked up as it should be. So just wanting to welcome you again today. And I'm so excited that this is a new year. It's a great time for us to really think about where we are, where we want to be. And as I said earlier, you may not have been able to hear me. Who do we want to be? And I love that. And as I stepped into the new year, I just spent some time. I went to Hobby Lobby and I looked at the neon signs. And I thought, what speaks to me the most? There was one that said dream. What was the other one? I can't remember what the other one said. You go, girl. But the one I chose was be happy. Because for me, I believe happiness is a choice. Also, really thinking about how we see ourselves, how we speak to ourselves. And so I'm wondering, what's your word as you step into 2026? What is your word or your phrase for yourself that you're choosing to anchor in that will help you really visualize who you want to be? And as we step into our topic today, I want to remind you, this is our public Facebook page. So if you're commenting, just be aware that it will be visible to any audience that's out there. It's not a private page. Love that. One word is focus. Focus is a great word. And for me, focus is a word of intention. Just as being happy is a word of intention. So when I wake up in the morning and I might not be feeling happy, I might be feeling a difficult emotion, I remind myself that it's a choice. And for me, happiness equates to joy, and we know that's the Lord's joy. So what's your word that you're stepping into, or your phrase that you're stepping into as you step into 2026 with us? And I want to thank you for being here. Evening audiences are a little bit lighter. And I'm by myself. I don't have another coach with me. So I'm going to rely on your interaction with me today. So thinking through, what is a word you want to carry through that you've been given that speaks to your heart and mind? There we go. Let's get that one off. Let's put this one on. Didn't realize this wasn't showing, so we're going to put this one on. There we go. All right. Intentional, trust, welcoming you so much. Let's bring some good energy to the evening. It's late here in Ohio. It's 7:30. I'm calling you from Ohio. Where are you ladies dialing in from? You know, we get ladies from all over the world, and it's so wonderful that we can connect in this platform. So whether you're watching it live or whether you're watching the replay, I want to check in with you right now. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how tired do you feel emotionally right now? If you're comfortable putting that in the chat, just give us a ranking. On a scale of 1 to 10, how tired do you feel emotionally? 9. We're going to use 10 as your greatest number, 1 as your lowest number. We got Michigan. We've got Cleveland. All right, to my north. Who else do we have? New Jersey. We've got a lot of 10s here. There's a lot of tired people here. 8 on a scale. Mercy, this is a great topic for tonight. Well, who else do we have? Texas. All right. I don't see California. You know, ladies, we don't have any low numbers. So I'm assuming that the numbers that you're giving me, we've got Georgia. Georgia's 6 or 7. So those Southerners, they do take it a little bit easier, so I think. Ladies, this is a great topic because we want to regain our peace, our power, and our purpose. So drop a heart emoji in the chat if you're here because you want more peace. And welcome, California, Minneapolis. Wow, love seeing where you all are from. New Hampshire. And just checking in with your words, stepping forward, being genuine. I don't see a lady on our screen that is below. Oh, here we go. Somebody's got a 4. I was just going to say, I don't see anything below a 6. All right, so just drop a heart emoji in the chat if you're someone who is looking for more peace. I know I am. Peace of heart and mind. I got sick over the holiday. I was sick in bed January 1st and 2nd. And as you can tell, I'm a little bit nasally. And I questioned, I just didn't want to get discouraged. Why stepping into the new year am I sick? And, I always look for the good in things. And the reboot for me was detoxing from caffeine. I'm actually coming to you live at my evening hour when I'm usually shutting down, and I have energy and it's not caffeinated. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for that. So thank you for your heart emoji. You can't find the right one. So if you're wanting peace, I want to talk a little bit about maybe some of the survival strategies that we engage in. And I would have said probably before I got sick on the new year, I would have probably rated myself maybe at a 5. I slept for 2 days straight. So I'm on the mend. Oh, I'm so sorry. I see some of you are facing loss. That's so hard. And as we step into the new year, we do really want to find that sense of power and purpose when life gives us the challenges that it does, and we're all facing them. Make no mistake, you are not alone. And so I want to ask you a little bit about what you do to survive. There are many things that we do to try to get through the hard, to try to find peace, to try to find energy. Maybe we just keep pushing along until we end up maybe breaking down and getting sick. But we tend to find survival strategies. Sometimes it's finding excitement, activities, engagement. I know some of us don't sit still, because if we sit still, then we have to feel the feelings or we get tired and exhausted. But I want to ask you, which of these survival strategies do you notice you have? And if you notice that you have them, put them in the chat and share with the group. Do you find yourself people-pleasing as a way to just be okay? As a way to have peace, not internal peace, but external peace. And maybe you think that pleasing others and making them happy is your purpose. If that's you, put PP in the chat, standing for people-pleasing. That's one survival strategy that causes us to lose our peace. It steps us into survival mode. The other one is over-functioning. And I saw a lot of that over the holidays. I'm an under-functioning holiday person. I don't make a big deal out of things. I kept gifts really simple this year. I spent my Thanksgiving making them and had so much fun doing it. And so if you're an over-functioner and you find that's the way that you survive, you just do. Just put OF in the chat, over-functioner. That may be how you lose your peace. And another way that we maybe step into survival mode and we lose our peace is avoiding conflict. You know, when we feel it gets tense, or maybe sometimes when we just say no, and others are not used to hearing our no or us setting limits, it gets tense in the room, can be conflictual, and then you feel that tension and that pressure. Or maybe just asserting yourself, speaking your opinion could cause problems. You may have experienced all of these things. It's a great time to talk about it because we've had a lot of time with others over the holiday. And so if one of your survival patterns is avoiding conflict, put AC in the chat. So we've got people pleasing, over functioning, and avoiding conflict. These are all unhealthy survival strategies that can rob us of our internal sense of peace and self. And I'm just going to be honest and real with you. Mine is coming up next, and it's shutting down. It has been my strategy since I was young. And these strategies develop when we're young. Sometimes they develop maybe as we're older and we're in destructive relationships. We learn how to survive, to carry on. And so if you're a shutting down person, put SD in the chat. Shutting down is just numbing. I'm not here. I'm not present. I'm not present for myself. I'm not present for you. I just don't have the bandwidth or the wherewithal or the words to do anything else. And so shutting down is numbing out. But it's robbing us. These strategies, ladies, rob us. They rob us of our sense of who we are, our agency, and they limit us in our purpose. And if you're a mix of all four, just put 4 in the chat. Sometimes we engage in all of them. And I like to name them for you because you take some notes, ladies, write it down on your paper. People pleasing, over functioning, avoiding conflict, and shutting down. Write them on a piece of paper in front of you, put them on a Post-it. And as you walk away from our live tonight, or if you're watching the replay, watch for those triggers for you, that survival pattern that you've developed, so that you can develop some awareness of where that might be showing up for you. Because awareness is the first step toward change and being different. And I want to ask you a question. Does it feel like a relief for you to hear that these are survival skills, that you've developed and adapted them throughout your life, rather than it's a character flaw? How many of you felt like this is just the way I am, and it's a character flaw? If it's a relief for you to know that these are survival strategies that you've learned and you can unlearn them, give me a relief in the chat. I know I'm happy to know that many of the things I've learned, I can also unlearn. And I can grow through. And that's why we're here together today, ladies. So if that's you, and you feel a relief to know that this isn't your future, this isn't your character, these are just survival skills that you've learned and you've adapted, and you can adapt different skills that will guide you into peace, power, and purpose. Yes. Yes, these survival skills cost us so much of the life that we wish we had. And if you're wishing that you had a different life, I'm just going to ask you a question. What if it could be different tomorrow? What if it could be different after you step off this call with us? Yeah. And now that you're aware of what those survival strategies are, you can also, as one of you mentioned in the chat, notice what it's cost you to live in that manner, exhausted, living in these survival skills. And allow that to motivate you toward something different, which we'll talk about as we move forward tonight. You know, we want to notice what peace really is and what it isn't. And I mentioned to you earlier in this call that, being sick January 1st, 2nd, and 3rd was kind of a gift to me because I'm caffeine free. Do you want to know one thing that I've not experienced since I've stopped drinking caffeine? And I think it's a trigger, definitely a minimal connection, is anxiety. I am more calm now that I am not using caffeine. Now, I do love tea and I don't drink coffee, and I really do enjoy it. But what I do notice is my body is calmer. I'll take all the help I can get. I'll take all the peace I can get. And so for me, what peace isn't is being, can I use the word hepped up on caffeine to help me function, to help me maybe overfunction when I'm overscheduled, right? So ladies, for us, I want to redefine peace tonight and teach you that peace isn't the absence of conflict. And I'd like you to notice what teaches your peace, what steals your peace. Because peace is often lost before we realize it. And we're already in overfunctioning mode. We're in survival mode. And so now that you have awareness of where you may be losing your peace, that is the first act you can take towards strength. So positioning yourself to really become aware. Now that we've named it, I'm going to look for it when it shows up. And how many of you are willing, with open eyes, to look for it showing up so that you can identify it and learn to adapt differently? And if you're willing to enroll with us tonight to look for it, just put look for it in the chat. Just notice. Notice when your peace is disrupted. Identify which of those 4 strategies or a combination of them you're engaging in, and determine to choose differently. Because the truth is, you can't change what you don't notice. And noticing what's happening, I want to be very clear about this. When you notice what's happening, what do you do? How do you talk to yourself? What are the things that you say to yourself? And how might you be kind in your mind? Oh, here it is. I'm doing it again. I want to invite you to curiosity, not to judgment or contempt. I want to invite you to be kind in your noticing, not demanding of yourself to be instantly different, but to notice and have compassion for yourself. This is a strategy you've been using, or these are strategies that you've been using all along. And so just noticing and being aware and calling it out stops it in motion. And I want to encourage you to guard your heart. Proverbs 4:23 talks about that, above all else, guarding your heart. And one of the ways we can guard our heart is not becoming the enemy to ourselves. So we don't want to let the enemy in. And the enemy kind of walks kind of in blindness, like, and in deception. When we're unaware, we're just in this revolving pattern, these survival skills that were set in motion, most often by destructive experiences or patterns that we've had along the way, or experiences that we've misunderstood. And the enemy uses that to harm us. And so when you're noticing, I want you to choose to be kind to yourself and not become your own enemy as well. And that's how you guard your heart. You guard your heart by being aware and by being kind when you notice that there's something that needs to change. So I want to ask you, when you hear the word peace, just take a moment and put in the chat what word comes to your mind first when you hear the word peace. I'm going to wait and just see what you come up with in the chat. What word comes to mind when you hear the word peace? I'll give you some. For me, when I hear the word peace, I think a calm mind and a calm body. Still, what a good word. Freedom, relax, solitude, contentment. And you guys, I have good words. I want to just copy this chat. Content. I always feel like we should make a handout and just label it peace with all the good words you're streaming in. Steady, calm, stillness. Oh, I just love this. When I think of peace, I think of maybe deers just grazing in the field, rest, nature still. You named it, Shauna. Absolutely. Shalom. Shalom and always grateful. Christ, relaxed. Yeah. So let's add to that. Bird song. How about safety? Can we add the word safety to that? Can we add the word wholeness? Just feeling whole. I love the word whole. Thinking that, when I think of wholeness, I think of the scripture that talks about I am whole in Christ. And truthfully, there are moments where I feel like I don't have anything I need, but that is a lie. It's a feeling. And wholeness is what Christ has brought to us. So wholeness can be peace in him. Love, content. Love that. So I love that. Quiet, safety, wholeness. And I want to ask you a question as we're talking about peace, and it happened to me just yesterday. Where do you notice peace leaving your body when it happens to you? And I'll name mine in a minute, but I want you guys to just when you're in those moments and you're in survival, you've lost your quiet, you've lost your contentment, you've lost your safety. Where do you notice that in your body? Let's connect that. Where does it usually happen? I've got a few places that I've become acquainted with that I can notice peace has gone. It might be a tight chest, a heavy stomach, shallow breath. For me, when peace leaves my body, I feel it right here in my core. And I feel the anxiety. Stomach, yep, that's a good one. If you're aware in your body, put body aware in the chat. I want you to learn to notice when you don't have peace and when you do. Because we can't step into peace if we're not aware that it's absent. And so a big part of what we want to teach you, and I want to invite you in just a moment, I'll talk to you a little bit about the group that we have coming up. But I want to invite you to integrate as you learn to walk in peace, power, and purpose. The Lord created us with a heart, a mind, and a body. And so we want to integrate our mind. Peace reigns in our thoughts, how we speak to ourselves, how we see ourselves, and it also reigns in our bodies. And I see that you're noticing, you feel it in your chest, in your brain. Absolutely. Chest and jaw. I'm a jaw person. Back of my neck. Ugh. Anxious mind. Short and fast breathing. You ladies are getting it. Noticing where your peace is disrupted. Holding your breath. I do that a lot. Body shakes, shoulders. Nice job. Nice job identifying. So if you were able to finish, or if you're able to in this moment, finish this sentence. If you want, I lose my peace when I. What comes to mind? And I'll fill it in with you, ladies. I'll be right here with you. As I told you, it happened to me yesterday. I lose my peace when I let other people decide what I need. And I agree and step into it without honoring myself. So that's mine. What's yours? I lose my peace when I. What might that be for you? Get busy. Take my eyes off Jesus. Take in their words. What causes you to lose? You're noticing so much. Write it down. As you put it in the chat, write it on the paper next to you. So when you walk away, you're more aware of those moments when you lose your peace. Mine was an aha yesterday. I lose my peace when I let others decide. So my choice is notice when I'm letting others decide. Think of all the things I need to do. That's a good one, yeah. When I have to deal with difficult people, you're already making your list of intention for what I'm going to notice and how I'm going to pivot and walk in peace, power, and purpose. Nice job, ladies. Those of you on Instagram, I don't see the comments coming through. How would you complete the sentence? I lose peace when I... And type notice if you're realizing that your peace matters way more than you've been taught or way more than you've been walking. I didn't know that a part to reclaiming my peace was to just stepping back from relying on caffeine. So I have 2 data points now, caffeine and letting others decide. That's my Diana awareness into 2026. What are yours? And so you're noticing what happens in your body. You're becoming body aware. And are you noticing that your internal peace is contingent of, and it coincides with your joy in the Lord? It matters more than you were taught. And I hear you saying that sometimes other people are entering to try to rob you of your peace. Your body is telling you, and it's letting you know what is robbing you of your sense of peace and your power. Good job. All right. Thank you so much for your engagement, ladies. You're doing amazing tonight. I'm here by my lonesome in terms of coaches. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about what healthy power, agency, and boundaries are. You know, I want you to name the pattern that you're noticing with yourself. The key to behavior change is noticing the patterns and the cycles that you're in. And if you're, if you're like me in the past, I used to just blame myself rather than looking at the behavior and the patterns. And so what I'd like you to do is just notice the patterns I want you to step out of shame and notice the patterns. In other words, you might notice that I'm a people pleaser, and that's the way that I avoid abandonment. That's the way that I stay safe. I don't feel safe when others aren't okay with me or when they disagree with me. Naming your patterns are very, very helpful. Your pattern might be when someone tells me what they think I need, I feel compelled to comply rather than listen to what I really need. You don't have to put them publicly here, but I'd like you to just notice to name your pattern. That's your teaser. Step 1 is we're going to notice what steals your peace. All right. So noticing what steals your peace. And then as we step into the next step, we're going to name the pattern. We're not going to bash ourselves. You are not the problem. The pattern that you have created, that you've adapted to, is the problem. And ladies, we've learned it and we can unlearn it. Your brains are neuroplastic, and the patterns that you've created can be rewired as you step in a different direction each time. You're hardwiring in your new direction. And so I want to give you this scripture because for me it's very hopeful. It's John 8:32. You will know the truth and the truth will set you free. And I love that. For me, it's so hopeful because, ladies, we do know the truth and his name is Jesus, and he has set us free, and he will walk us into all truth, the truth of our patterns, the truth of where we're losing our peace, where he wants to give us power in our lives, and the truth of what our purpose is. And that's your scripture for anchoring in, because the Lord has promised that he will guide you into all truth. And as we do that, it will set us free. Free from those survival strategies, free from those patterns that are no longer serving us well, and free from maybe destructive interactions with others. And we allow those destructive interactions when we do so without awareness. So, I would like to ask you if you think this is true or false. Saying no makes me selfish. Is that true or is that false for you? I think you already know the answer, but just internally, is it true for you that when I say no, I feel selfish? If that's something you struggle with, just name it and know it. And identify the pattern that goes along with that for you. Is it people pleasing? Is it over functioning? Is it I just want to avoid conflict? Or is it that I just shut down and let others decide? Oops. Okay, ladies, I've lost my screen here a minute. Got a lot going on here. I'm just trying to get to your comments. False, but it's hard for me to say no. Yeah. So what's hard about saying no? The next question, that's a great prompt. Thank you, Shauna. So it's not selfish for me to say no, but it's hard for me to say no. So asking the question, why is it hard for me to say no? What is it I fear? What is it I think? And what is it I believe? We're going to celebrate those ways in which you have said no and you can say no. Now, if you're saying no all the time and you're not present or available, I mean, and your no is and your offers are always no, then I might reevaluate. Is there a selfish component to me? It's been my experience that the ladies that we work with in conjunction with the ministry that we do not have the issue of selfishness. They have more of the issue of not having a self, because they've allowed everyone else to rob them of their self, or they've learned and adapted strategies, which is what we're talking about tonight, that have robbed you of self. So just noticing again those patterns of people pleasing, over functioning, avoiding conflict, and shutting down. And I want to ask you a question. Has anyone ever labeled your strength as too much? So what strength is it that you possessed? Maybe it's this is true for me. I come up on all the personality inventories. I am sensitive. How many of you have been told you're oversensitive? I am a very sensing person. I pick up and I feel things that others in the room don't even notice or care to. And ladies, that's a strength. Yeah. And I'm not too much. So if you're noticing your strengths and someone has told you that your strength is too much and you're wanting to take control of that again, I mean, if I wasn't sensitive, I wouldn't be good at what I do here. And so I want you to say, and you can put it in the chat and declare, I'm not too much. This is me. And allowing yourself to say, I'm not too much, gives you the power to reclaim your strength and your voice. All right. Power grows through practice, and practice develops your confidence. Confidence and efficacy for believing you have the ability to do something happens as you practice it. And one honest sentence and declaration can be your next foot forward into something new. I love that. I am not too much. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am not too much. This is me. This is who I am. Embracing all of those characteristics and qualities that God has given you. Stepping out of survival strategies and stepping into you. So, I want you to think about practicing one small step of power. And I'll talk a little bit about that. You know, as I said, it happens through practice. So it might be one honest sentence. First to yourself is, I'm not too much. What I'm sensing is real. What I'm experiencing is happening. And maybe an example of practicing your power might be saying to somebody, I'm not sure what to say here. I need time to think about this. That's not going to work for me. I appreciate your opinion, but that's not what I need. I don't want to talk about this right now. There are lots of ways we can do that. If you have some extra to add to that, put them in the chat, because we can all borrow from your wisdom. And if you have a question, I will take some time afterward. You can use our question tracker, and that will be in the chat for you. If you desire to put it in there anonymously, otherwise it will be posted for you. So I want to ask you, what's your small step that you can practice? You don't have to put it in the chat, but think about it. What's your small step to practice your act of power if you're going to step into power? Maybe it's trusting yourself. You know, 2 Timothy 1:7 says, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power. And as you embrace your power, what is it that God is saying to you tonight, right now, that he would like you to step into? What might feel the hardest for you right now? If you're comfortable, share it with us. Maybe it's trusting yourself. Trusting yourself, using your voice. Maybe it's letting somebody be upset, or sitting with the tension and not recanting your boundary. Maybe it's speaking honestly. Maybe it's speaking at all, or saying no. What feels the hardest to you right now? Your ability to be strong is God-given. I hear you, using my voice, taking your fearful thoughts captive, needing to trust yourself. Thank you, ladies, for being so honest and so vulnerable here. Trusting yourself is a good place to start. I always call it trusting my knowing. Trusting my knowing is I can know what I need. And as I say that to myself, it's not just me trusting me, it's me trusting God in me as well. Love that. I'm looking at the chat here, ladies. All right. So you have so many prompts that I've asked you today. Hopefully, as you're journaling, as I'm going through these, you have some action steps for you and some awareness that you can practice, using your voice with confidence, not being worried about the outcome. That's a good one. You know, for me, one small step of power in trusting myself is a lot of time, like I've already admitted to you, letting others decide. Like even when others are suggesting activities, you know, I need to pause and say to myself, what is it I really want to do and get engaged in and involved in? Because I'm a little easygoing, and I need to be thoughtful about how I'll spend my time and my energy, because I do want to walk in power and in purpose and purposefully. Yes, using your voice with confidence, putting God before people in my life who expect to use me for household services. Love that. Great prompts, ladies. How about my Instagram group? I'm not seeing the comments there. So just put it in the chat. Small step if you're open to practicing power in gentle ways. And I want you to say to yourself, my strength is God-given. 2 Timothy 1:7. God has not given you a spirit to fear, but he's given us a spirit of power, power of knowing, power of deciding, and it is in his peace and in his truth that you will accomplish that. All right. Okay. So you've got your prompts. We started, I'm just going to review for you ladies because that's what I like to do. So we're going to notice what steals our peace, right? We're going to be aware. We're going to name the patterns that we see ourselves in, and we're going to practice one small act, one step. And that's how we do it at Leslie Wernick and Company. We take one step in front of what and the other. And ladies, we don't do it alone. We do it with one another, empowering one another. So I want you to not abandon yourself, to step into your purpose and your identity. I want you to invite God into your experience. He doesn't require you to perform perfectly. He just wants to walk with you, just to be honest. He heals what you bring to the light, not what you pretend is okay. So just be raw with him and let him know where you struggle the most. Psalms 34:18 tells us that he's close to the brokenhearted. So I want to ask you a question. Have you ever felt like you've lost parts of yourself trying to keep things together? And if that's you, just put lost. Or maybe you're finding yourself again, and that's where you are. And if you're finding yourself again, just put finding again in the chat. We want to invite you, and I'm going to just change my banner here a little bit. Give me a moment. Okay. Here we go. How do you like that? Technology works. Oh, I love that. Finding again slowly. Lost but finding again. You're on the journey. Gosh, that sounds so good. And for those of you that are lost, you're not in this alone. I see that. I see you. Lost all of me. Lost. And that's awareness. That's truth. You're acknowledging the truth with honesty. And so if it's you and you say, I don't even know what I want anymore, type yes in the chat. And if that's you and you don't even know what you want anymore, you're having a hard time defining it, just choose one word. What's one word that you'd like to feel more of this year? You can know what you want to feel more of. Maybe it's peace. Maybe it's clarity, courage, freedom, rest, joy. What's that one word you'd like to feel more of? Safe, peace. You know what you need. You're not completely lost to yourself. You're already identifying it. Calm, firm, peace, confidence. What is it you need? Joy. There you go. Rested. Peace and courage. Maybe it's companionship. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's not just an adjective. Nice job, ladies, identifying what it is you want more of this year. Name it, put it out there, write it down. And let me know if you really want more of a connection with God, not a fake one. And if that's you, just type honest. So I want to invite you Oh man, we're all on this journey, and you've all given such great engagement tonight. I want to invite you to consider community. We have an opportunity for you that is all about learning to walk in peace, power, and purpose. Our program is designed over the course of 6 months for you to recover, reclaim wherever you're at in the process. There are no rules or boundaries for whether or not you belong as a part of the Empowered to Change group community that we're walking through this season. I just want to invite you to a healing path that can accelerate what you're noticing, where you're seen, where you're supportive, a safe community that will teach you how to regulate your brain, your body, give you tools, give you practice, and we'll be there to coach you around all of that. And so one of the things I want, and I've said this to myself, wow, and it's interesting, it's in my notes, ladies, and I've said this to myself just even in the last week. And so I want you to listen to this quote. You don't need willpower, you need support. And I have said that to myself. I need support. And one of my wins is I have declared that to myself. I'm not an island. I'm giving that up. I need support. I need others. I need witness. And I don't want to be alone. And many of you are walking a hard journey alone, and you don't have to. So saying to yourself, you don't need, or I don't need more willpower, I need support. Don't be afraid to claim that you need support. And whether you find it in our Empowered to Change group or in a community or in a Bible study, but you do need community and support. Ecclesiastes 4:9. Let's let that be an anchoring scripture for us. Two are better than one. And a lot of times we think about that and we think, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes we think romantically, two are better than one. And you need a partner. But ladies, we need one another. You need supportive, godly women, friends who are on the path of growth. And so I would like to ask you a question as we maybe come to a close and I take a few questions. Would you say that you're more tired of trying harder or staying the same? Maybe you don't fit in either one of those, but if that's you, let me know. Is it that you're tired of trying harder, or you're tired of staying the same and you need a path forward to be different? What might that be for you? Would it be trying harder, staying the same? I think for me, the ways in which I'm looking to change whatever needs to be changed that's been the same. Yeah, I hear you. I'm trying, both. Thank you for your honesty, your vulnerability. Yes, need to move forward. So, if you're tired of trying harder and you're tired of staying the same, what is it that would help you step into peace, power, and purpose? What is it that would help you step into healing, change, and growth? I feel like I use each for the other, so I'm not okay, got it. Wearisome. Yeah. So I want to tell you, these are the 5 steps that we practice slowly, safely, and biblically inside Empowered to Change. It's not information, it's transformation with support, coaching, and encouragement. And so I want to ask you, which feels the most important for you now? Would it be breaking old patterns, building your identity, healing wounds, developing boundaries and walking in them, or a peace that lasts? And maybe it's all 5 for you. And I want to encourage you about the potential for healing in a safe community. It might feel scary to you because it's something new and it's different. Maybe you're a quiet, shy person and you're not used to being in a group context. But let me tell you, you will find ladies who are walking similar paths to you. It can be scary, it can be supportive, it can be both. So if that's you and you're not wanting to do this alone anymore, I want to invite you to put yes in the chat. And I want you invite you to put together in the chat if you're not wanting to do this alone anymore. So for those of you that are not wanting to do this alone anymore, just put together in the chat. And if you're ready to take a next step, just put ready in the chat. If you're curious, just let me know that you're curious. All right. Now, if you have a question, I'll stay. We have some time left that I can answer some questions. Let's see what we have. All right. So I don't know that we have any questions in the question tracker. Yes. Okay. So if you're not sure which avenue to take, what might help you decide? And maybe you're questioning, let me tell you a little bit about the group coaching format that we have. You'll have established videos and curriculum. So one of the things, this is this program's we've been using this for many, many years, and the material is rich. You don't have to think through your steps, ladies. You won't have to think through what tools to employ. They'll be given to you. What we want to help you do is we want to help you walk them out. Just like we did today. We started with awareness. We talked about identifying patterns. And then I asked you what's one step you could move into. You won't have to kind of think, where do I need to start? You will be given the tools that you need to create the change that you want to see. You'll be cemented in your purpose. And a big part of Empowered to Change, which I love, is being rooted in your identity and your God-given self. And so if God is calling you to that, I want to invite you to go to our link that is on the screen here. It is leslievernick.com/change. Read the information. We have just a few groups left. We'd love to have you join us. If you have some questions, please put your questions in the question tracker for us. And I want to ask you, what are your greatest takeaways, your aha moments, or what nuggets are you taking away from what we've processed and talked about tonight? What stood out most to you? All right. And so I do have I don't think this is like a question. I think this is more of a comment that we have in the trackers. Why does it feel like so many things I try get blocked or sabotaged? I get so discouraged. And I can't say why you're getting blocked or sabotaged, but I think it's really important to notice where the sabotage feels like it's coming from, where you're noticing it's happening, and where you're being blocked. What is getting in the way? We want to help you grow in momentum, but you first have to become aware of where you're allowing the external forces to block you and where the sabotage is coming from, and gain an understanding and awareness of what you have control of and where your power is and how you can step into your power, because you want to step out of victim, and discouragement will keep you in victim mentality. That's why I told you at the beginning of this call that my thought for the new year is to choose happiness, choose joy. It's the absence of discouragement, and it will give you momentum to move forward. And so I want to thank you for that question that you asked. I'm going to read a little bit of your comments. Survival skills can be changed. Absolutely. We can be different. It is your choice, absolutely, in spite of circumstances. What are your greatest nuggets from our time together today? Talking about focus. All right. Well, ladies, I want to thank you for being with us today. And I want to thank Nancy for our support. Again, I want to invite you to join us. I also want to mention for you that are going to watch the replay or that are on the call, we have some bonuses for you who want to sign up for Empowered to Change. The coaches have created some really valuable tools for you. We have a noble self compass that will help you anchor in who you're meant to be in your noble self, help you with decision making, how to walk in your deepest values and virtues. And it's a valuable tool, and that will be yours as you sign up for Empowered to Change. We also have an emotional intensity meter. Remember, we talked about integrating our mind and our bodies in who we want to be and reclaiming our peace, our power, and our purpose. These are 2 tools that will be invaluable for you as you seek change and growth as we step into 2025. So I want to thank you for being with us. And I want to invite you to our, we're having a Facebook tomorrow at noon, and it's me again. And the topic for tomorrow is God's plan isn't broken, even if you feel broken. So if you're so inclined, please join me again tomorrow. And I want to say God bless you. I want to say good night. And I want to invite you again to a good 2026. Bye-bye for now.